protest, I have to point out, has really grown in size. Hundreds of people out here peacefully protesting.
No hate, no fear, immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear, Muslims are welcome here.
We will not turn away children.
We will not turn away children.
We will not turn away families.
We will not turn away families. No bans, no walls, no bans.
The power of the people is greater than the people in power.
Donald Trump said, Donald Trump said, no hate, no fear, refugees are welcome here. The Muslim ban has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, let them in.
With signs that read "No ban" and "Impeach Trump," demonstrators outside the White House on Sunday urged the new U.S. president to reverse his temporary ban on anyone coming to the U.S. from 7 mostly Muslim countries. Online, Trump defended his executive order signed on Friday, tweeting, "Our country needs strong borders and extreme vetting. Now, look what is happening all over Europe and indeed the world. A horrible mess." Meanwhile, Trump aides were denying suggestions that this was a ban on Muslims.
And let me make very clear, these 7 countries, what about the 46 majority Muslim countries that are not included? Right there, it totally undercuts this nonsense that this is a Muslim ban. This is a ban on travel, prospective travel from countries trying to prevent terrorists in this country, from countries that have a recent history of training and exporting and harboring terrorists.
The Department of Homeland Security issued a statement Sunday morning declaring that it will continue to enforce President Donald Trump's executive order on immigration after a judge blocked it in court Saturday night.
U.S. President Donald Trump has fought back over widespread criticism of his order for a halt on arrivals of refugees and people from 7 Muslim-majority countries. Trump and his senior aides defended the policy, with one official saying Friday's order could be expanded to include more countries.
The media coverage of President Trump's order on refugees turned sharply negative over the last 24 hours, as some who were already on flights were detained at American airports and protesters descended on JFK. This after the president barred all refugees from entering the U.S. for 120 days to tighten vetting procedures, and a 3-month ban on those from 7 predominantly Muslim countries, which Trump said would favor Christian refugees over Muslims. New York Daily News will put it up, published this cover with a weeping Statue of Liberty, and the Huffington Post ran a photo of a dead child on a beach while accusing the president of slamming the door. And this morning, Washington Post banner headline, "Refugee Ban Causes Chaos Nationwide." Charge about the media essentially being in the enemy camp came first from White House senior strategist Steve Bannon to the New York Times. And then President Trump embraced it in an interview with Christian Broadcasting Network's David Brody.
Yeah, I think the media is the opposition party in many ways. I'm not talking about everybody, but a big portion of the media, the dishonesty, the total deceit and deception makes them certainly partially the opposition party, absolutely. I think they're much more capable than the opposition party.
Senior U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer says Democrats will introduce a bill to Congress to overturn President Donald Trump's executive order banning entry from 7 Muslim countries. Have a listen.
First, I heard that John McCain spoke out strongly against it. We should have other Republicans speaking out against it, and maybe we can pass something in the Congress. We can only do it with Republican support to at least undo this or stay it. We get a few more Republicans, I think we might be able to pass legislation to overturn it. It'll be up to getting more Republicans.
Germany has condemned the travel ban imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump on refugees and citizens of 7 Muslim-majority nations, calling it unjustified. German Chancellor Angela Merkel said it's not justified to place people from a specific origin or faith under general suspicion, even for the sake of fighting terrorism. Her spokesman says that Merkel has expressed her concerns to Trump during a phone conversation on Saturday. The German leader has reminded the American president that such restrictions violate the Geneva Conventions, which urge the international community to take in war refugees. Germany has announced that it will review the consequences of the ban for its citizens with dual nationalities and will represent their interests if needed.
Well, Iraqi lawmakers have criticized a U.S. travel ban and called on Baghdad to respond in kind. The Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee calls the measure unfair. The committee has demanded the government impose a travel ban on Americans. The Popular Mobilization Unit has also urged Baghdad to stop U.S. nationals from entering Iraq and expel those already present. A prominent cleric has condemned the U.S. travel restrictions. In a statement, Muqtada al-Assad slammed Washington's, quote, arrogance for freely entering Iraq while restricting the entry of foreigners to the U.S. Assad says the U.S. should take its nationals out of Iraq.
Now, we have had some Turkish response to the executive order. There's a tweet from Deputy Turkish Prime Minister Mehmet Şimşek. He says refugees are welcome in Turkey, the world's largest refugee hosting country. Of course, Turkey hosts around 2.8 million registered Syrian refugees. He goes on to say we'd happily welcome back global talent not allowed back in the United States.
Canada will offer temporary residency to any travelers stranded by U.S. President Donald Trump's orders temporarily barring people from 7 Muslim-majority countries. Immigration Minister Ahmed Hussein told a news conference he did not know how many people might be eligible, but said only a small number of passengers trying to fly to the United States from Canada had been denied boarding. Earlier in the day, more than 200 Canadian technology company founders, executives, and investors called on Ottawa to immediately give temporary residency to those displaced by Trump's order.
One witness told a local reporter that one of them was speaking French with a Quebec accent, and that he said at one point during the shooting, "Allahu Akbar, God is great."
The gunmen entered the mosque just before 8 in the evening as people had gathered to pray. The attackers opened fire, then fled. Heavily armed police have now secured the perimeter around the Quebec City Islamic Cultural Centre, also known as the Grand Mosque of Quebec.
I cannot tell you the part of the investigation, but we can confirm that it's an act of terrorism. Two suspects were arrested. They will be interviewed by the investigators.
No one's yet admitted responsibility. The shooting has shocked the community.
We received no threats against us or the mosque beforehand. The neighborhood is very peaceful. We have a good relationship with the government, the mayor of Quebec. We have no problem whatsoever.
The Prime Minister Justin Trudeau went on social media to offer his condolences, saying, "Tonight, Canadians grieve for those killed in a cowardly attack on a mosque in Quebec City. My thoughts are with victims and their families." And on the Twitter account of Quebec's Prime Minister, updates on the security situation plus a firm stance. Quebec categorically rejects this barbaric violence.
A senior Saudi source reports U.S. President Donald Trump and Saudi King Salman spoke by phone for an hour. The source had no word on whether they discussed Trump's temporary ban on nationals from 7 Muslim-majority countries. But the source did say the two leaders agreed to step up counterterrorism and military cooperation and enhance economic relations. The 22-member Arab League has expressed deep concern over Trump's order. It says the restrictions are unjustified. The source said both Saudi Arabia and the U.S. share views about Iranian policies in the region. This suggests Trump agrees with Riyadh's suspicion of what it sees as Tehran's growing influence in the Arab world. Iran denies it meddles in Arab countries.
This little boy's reaction is everything. The sheer look on his face makes us smile even from a distance.
Welcome to your home.
This beautiful new living space is now what his family calls home.
You can open your eyes. Honey, this is yours.
Check out their cool digs. The Browns come from a life of poverty. Once homeless in Detroit, they spent countless nights sleeping on the floor. Now they don't have to, thanks to the work of Humble Design, a nonprofit group that helps transform 3 homes a week. Since 2009, Humble Designs renovated more than 720 homes. Only one family went back into poverty. Without its service, 47% of families are likely to go back to a shelter within the year because they can't make ends meet, according to Michigan's Department of Housing and Urban Development. For the Browns, now they have a brand new place to start over.
Welcome to your room. Oh my God.
And a home to make happy memories.
It's beautiful.